All right, everybody, welcome to the Final Circle podcast. This is episode number 5. I'm BLiTz5, and our co-host again today, as always, is Sypher5. And this is a podcast where we talk about games, life, tech, all of that stuff. And most recently, we've been talking a lot about PUBG because that's what we've been playing the most. And we got a lot of news going on with PUBG, Battlefield 5, a bunch of things going on right now. We're having a major countdown for PUBG coming to PS4. We got the new snow map, Vikendi coming, and a bunch of different news. So we're going to get into all that stuff today. And do you want to start us off with like a first topic or something, Sypher5 over there?
Yeah, I think let's start out with some good PUBG news maybe. How about that? I know there's a lot of people that play PUBG Mobile that visit the stream a lot. And this was
shout out to it's Hate Mate and all the other people that don't have an Xbox.
Yeah, so this is some interesting news that I found today. That Google released their Android Best Apps and Games, and PUBG Mobile won 3 awards. So they won Best Game, Most Competitive, and Fan Favorite, which is pretty good. Like that means they beat out Fortnite. So that's pretty impressive. I also read, I was reading the metrics and everything, and that game released March 2018, and it had 100 million downloads by August 2018. That's crazy.
Holy cow. You know what's crazy? I saw this as well, and I forgot about it because I saw it really late at night that they won these 3 awards. And I was kind of laughing. I'm like, who really cares about like the Google Android Awards?
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, that really is a good metric, and it's insane how many people really do play PUBG Mobile, because when you go on Instagram or even on YouTube, or even when you watch PUBG, like if you browse PUBG on the YouTube stream on YouTube Gaming, like there's a lot of people just playing PUBG Mobile, and a lot of them are like overseas because a lot of those people don't have access to PUBG. Like it's not out in their region, and it's obviously easier to play PUBG. Everyone has a phone nowadays as opposed to like a console or a serious gaming PC. So you see people from like every country and speaking like every different language playing PUBG Mobile, and it honestly is incredible. And even when I first downloaded PUBG Mobile, I kind of remember hearing that it was already beating Fortnite Mobile because it was so optimized for the mobile platform. And I think that has a lot to do with Tencent, which we talked about before. And for anybody that doesn't know, Tencent is the producer of PUBG Mobile in partnership with Bluehole and PUBG. So yeah, it's crazy.
I know Tencent has been working on the Call of Duty mobile game, but I don't know if that's ever released, or I don't know what they're doing with that. Maybe people play it. It could have been released, but I know Tencent is just like going hard on the mobile gaming. And
yeah, that's such a good question, dude. Because Call of Duty like online and mobile was supposed to be out like a long time ago. I think it might be out in like China or something, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean Tencent could have just been focusing really mainly on China. I mean the thing is that like mobile gaming is getting bigger every year, like without a doubt, and I think that Tencent is just a massively big company. Like I know that they buy into a lot of smaller publicly traded companies like Glue that make like and Glue is just a company that makes mobile games, but they buy into these companies and own a lot of stake in these mobile gaming companies because I think that they know that this is going to be the big thing. And I think in countries like China, mobile gaming is 100% bigger than console or PC gaming. Like you said, probably because of people can't afford platforms, or and maybe it's just also an internet thing that they have more internet. It's easier to have internet on your phone than it is to have like internet in your house, like Wi-Fi and all that stuff. I'm not really sure about that, but I think that's one issue as well.
Yeah, I think there's so many factors that go into it, and I think a lot of these games, sometimes they have a hard time coming out in China, and because Tencent is making them, they already are like partnered and associated with like the Chinese government, kind of all the big companies are. So then like they have an easier time getting all these games pushed through in the Chinese market and in that area overseas. So it really is crazy, man. I mean, they're invested. They have like. Last time I checked, they had like a 5 or 10% stake in Riot Games, which makes League of Legends. They're one of the biggest companies in the world, Tencent Games. And it really is crazy. They do a bunch of other things too. Like they're not just in video games. They're a pretty big conglomerate company. So
yeah, I think they compete with like Alibaba and all, just like retail and all that type of stuff. So, and they have like Tencent like online, like servers. They have they're massive. They're just a big company. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, mobile, that's not even including the iOS, but I know that there is also news that released today. I guess all the mobile crap was coming out today, but like PUBG revenue, mobile revenue to be specific, surpassed Fortnite mobile revenue for the first time on and that's just on iOS. So that's all the iPhones. So
Wow.
It's kind of a big milestone if you think about it.
And I really think, even from my metrics, dude, I think because I can see how people are watching iOS and Android, it really seems like US is like the last market where iOS is dominating. In most other countries, like Android, there's more Android users than iPhone users, and it kind of makes sense because iPhones are more expensive and
super expensive.
Yeah, so like that's pretty crazy because that means that like even in maybe you could kind of connect the dots that maybe even in America, PUBG Mobile is beating Fortnite, which Fortnite is so big in the US, and then overseas like PUBG Mobile I feel like has been killing it and on Android, and that shows because they won those 3 awards. So that is like that's really crazy too. That's nuts.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a little bit of a turning point. I really think that PUBG is is a lot bigger than Fortnite overseas, to be honest with you, like in more of those countries. Also, I just think that maybe people like PUBG more in foreign countries than they do in the US. Like, US is all Fortnite, and I think a lot of that had to do with this hype and stuff like that, but it seems like whenever you look at
Fortnite's almost kind of like a meme and like a thing in the US, you know what I mean? And like kids, all the US kids like do the Fortnite dances and stuff like that. But it's hard to say. I mean, who knows? Fortnite could be really big in other countries. It's hard
it could
to
be.
say.
Yeah, I just think that if you have the mobile gaming is like a good way to be like, probably gotta be somewhere on there. But, I mean, that's really big that iOS that they surpassed them. So that's obviously an important metric out there. So, what about you? You got anything interesting?
Well, I wanted to see right here because a lot of times when I check my real-time stats on YouTube, real-time stats show you like how many people are estimated to be watching your page in the last 48 hours, and that's the like most granular you can get with YouTube. Like you can't go to I mean, they kind of estimate the last 60 minutes, so I guess that's the smallest you can get. But you really don't know how many views you're getting until a couple of days later. Then they process them. Like even for the podcast, I think we lost some views on the podcast because sometimes if they notice someone clicked on it like 5 times, because say maybe they disconnected or they clicked off, a lot of times it will register that views, and then a week later they'll come back down.
Oh,
so
sometimes that I watch it, it's getting subtracted.
yeah. But a lot of times I do that, like with Joe Rogan, dude. I must have clicked on the Joe Rogan is interviewing Anthony Cumia, whatever, from Anthony Opie and Anthony, the old radio show. Anyways, I must have clicked on that podcast on YouTube like 10 times already because I watch it and then I pause it and then I go do something else and then I click back to it.
You lose a tab or something,
Yeah, I've clicked on it like 100 times. So going to this, though, it's really interesting because I'm going to look at my operating system because I've been noticing that literally almost every 48 hours, Android is the number one system where my YouTube videos are being watched. And even right now, it's the number one, and then it's a couple hundred ahead of iOS. And the total number is in around like 4,000 in the last 48 hours. So it's pretty close to iOS, but Android's beating it. And then it's crazy that Windows is like just someone using a regular Windows computer is pretty low down there. And then there's also people watching on like PlayStation and Macs and Roku. It's kind of weird to see where people are watching. Someone watched from a Nintendo 3DS. I have one view from a Nintendo 3DS, which is hilarious.
That is hilarious.
I didn't even know you could do that.
I get it.
So it's just crazy because Android, I mean, we're iPhone users. We have iOS, but it really seems like there's more people out there with Android. I think that's true. I think Apple is the number 2, right? Phone producer now. I think they moved down. And then there's people who say Huawei, that phone that's not allowed in America, is technically 3rd, but like people think that there's like it actually is number 2, but like the numbers are kind of skewed for Apple. And that's a whole crazy like thing too. There's a whole topic about like why Huawei isn't allowed in America and all these different things because it's a Chinese company that we don't have to get into. But
also Android releases on like so many different phones. It's not just like iOS is only iPhone exclusively. So it's like Android's on tons of different phones. It's not
that's a really good point. I didn't really consider that, and that's so true. It's on everything.
It's not
other
just
than
Samsung,
iPhone.
It could
pretty
be other
much.
Platform.
Yeah, because most other software developers have gone out of the way. Like Windows gave up on their phone, and I don't really know anybody else that has their own platform. Most of them just use Android at this point, right?
Yeah, I can't think of any. I mean, maybe BlackBerry is the only one, but who has a BlackBerry anymore, honestly?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure. And we could talk about PS4, PUBG, or we could talk about Battlefield 5. I know you had some stuff about that. We could go either way.
We could also go into, a little bit of the Fortnite competing with Steam. I guess we could just keep it.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That was pretty interesting. So Andrew brought up before the podcast, before we went live, that Fortnite is creating their own platform. So for you guys that aren't familiar with this, because I actually had someone asking me about this in the stream, if you play a game on PC, because I know there's a lot of console players out there, because I stream on Xbox, so a lot of people in the community are console players. But if you play on PC, you need to usually download your game through a platform, right? You just can't like go grab it out of nowhere. And most of these games are connected through Steam, and Steam is basically like their Xbox or Microsoft platform, but it's just an application or a software that you put on your desktop. So you make a Steam account, and then you can go in there and you can buy games. And it's basically like a GameStop, a digital GameStop. And then sometimes they have Steam sales where you can get games for like really cheap, for like $5 and stuff like that, or even $1. And people buy like 1 million games. But basically, like Steam then has to work with the developers, or the vice versa. The developers have to work with Steam, and they have to negotiate like a price, like how much they're going to take for selling their game in the Steam market and all that stuff. So Fortnite is coming in, and Fortnite's on Steam, and they're saying, you know what, we don't want to deal with Steam, so we're going to make our own network. And this is insane because Steam is like the number one player. It's really the only player. There's some other ones, but like it is the number one thing by a long shot, and it has been forever. As far as I know, forever. For a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's a big deal. I mean, if they can do it right, it's kind of hard because I feel like a lot of people are used to Steam, and I'm sure that their platform is pretty streamlined on what to do, how to do it. You know, so Fortnite or Epic, I guess, has to come in and really recreate something that's just as simple, and then kind of convince people to get off of Steam and go to that, go to their platform. If they, you know what I mean, to be competitive, they kind of have to remove content from Steam to get on theirs. And you know what's the weirdest thing? Like, I think the most, the most expensive game on Steam, like this is just a random fun fact, is a train simulator game. Like, I think there's like $50,000 in content for this train simulator.
Oh, what do you mean? Like available in game that you can buy, or
yeah.
Okay.
So this is off topic, but like I remember when I worked at the company where we did gaming servers, a guy was like looking up Steam stuff, and he's like, I'm like, what's the most expensive, like, you know, with all the content and everything? And he goes, a train simulator. And he looked it up, and it was like $50,000 worth of content that you could purchase.
Wow. I see, that you could just buy in the game.
Yeah, they just kept on adding on. And it apparently was like a high, rated game. Like, imagine being that company and being like, oh, we need to move $50,000 worth of like content from one platform to another one. They'd probably just be like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't. You're right. So, but the thing is that if any game is going to do it, Fortnite is such a great game because it's the most played game right now. And like, if you want to play, if you're addicted to Fortnite, you're gonna use whatever way you need to log in to get into that game. Yeah, and that's pretty crazy. And they're also offering, just so everybody knows, sorry to interrupt you, they're also offering a better deal with the developers, so to entice other developers to come over to their Epic store, whatever they're going to be calling it. So
yeah, I'm kind of wondering what it would be called. I'm like really wondering how they're gonna go about it, like what their plan is for it, or like, are they just because I thought you could just download Epic Games, like the app, and then you could just play Fortnite that way. I didn't use Steam.
I'm pretty sure you can actually, because when Dave was at my house, he plays Fortnite on computer and I don't. He downloaded the Epic Games launcher. I thought it was just through. Oh no, but you know what it is? It's you might have to download it through Steam first, because I did that with Ring of Elysium, for example. Like, I have a Ring of Elysium launcher on my desktop, but I had to buy it through Steam, and I think it might still be that way with Fortnite, but I'm not 100% sure, because he downloaded Fortnite on my computer, not I. And I've only played Fortnite on the computer like twice.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in the same boat. I played it like a couple of times on the computer, and I don't remember what I did.
Yeah, I would turn it on right now, but it might make some noise, and I don't want to like have that the podcast or anything like that.
I think I removed it because I kept on getting. I remember I was getting like mad notifications that someone was trying to hack into my account. I was like, all right, I'm just removing this piece of.
Yeah, Fortnite had a big issue with that because there's so many Fortnite accounts.
Yeah.
And I'm reading here that Steam apparently takes 30% of the cut of the game, so the developers get the remaining 70%, and the Epic Store would just take 12%. So that's a huge difference. So they get 88% of their money for the game. So that's a really big difference. That's like enough to move over if you're gonna save 18%.
Yeah, that's definitely a big difference for sure. And I don't know how Steam really works. I'm sure it's just like they house like like you said, they're an online store. They put the company's games on their servers, and their servers are just purpose for downloading the game, holding the game, and streamlining the downloading process, so you get it on your computer, and then after that it goes to the companies, the developers servers that they have like optimized for that game. It's not like Steam servers necessarily. You know what I mean? Like Steam
Yeah.
just probably houses the game and has just some sort of way that they are like, hey, we can hold it, manage all your transactions. They could download the game from us, and that's that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I guess that's really all they have to do at Fortnite. I don't know. I think this is a huge undertaking. I think when companies really try to like step out of their own realm of expertise, like you're taking a huge risk. Like, you know, not only like with your development team, but you're also like, you know, financially, fundamentally taking a big risk. Like it's a big expense to lay out, and they definitely make a ton of money, so they definitely could do it. It's just that, you know, if you don't do it well or don't do it right, you could just really be like cutting a hole in the boat, you know, and just taking on some water that you really didn't need to do in the first place, you know. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, who owns Steam? I think it's Valve, and Valve makes like CS:GO, right? And they made Half-Life. So I guess they're really the people that like started this and kind of did it. So I agree with you. I mean, it's a huge risk for Fortnite. They're already making so much money. Like you could argue like why even bother? But because they're offering such a big discount, I mean, this could be like really good for developers and even gamers. So who knows? I mean, it's definitely a big risk, big reward, because if they blow Valve and Steam like out of the water with this, like they could become the new Steam, and like you're like, oh, nobody uses Steam, everybody uses Epic Store now. So like who knows? It just needs to be done right, and they need to get a lot of people on board. And then if anything, maybe it could drive down the percentage and the prices for everybody, for the developers at least, and then it would be more competition in the market, because really Steam kind of dominates that for the most part. But you're right, it's very interesting to see these companies that get into like a whole different market sector.
Yeah,
it's really different.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, like, I can't think of anyone that competes with Steam in that regards, to be honest with you, off the top of my head. I'd have to like spend some time Googling and researching what platforms are similar to Steam.
Yeah, I really don't know. I'm not really sure.
So.
And just to continue the tradition, I might do this like every time we're live during the podcast, just because I'm interested. So I'm checking right now YouTube Gaming and Twitch to see what's going on with the games. A lot of times I check during the day when I'm streaming just to see how PUBG is doing, because sometimes people come in and they're haters and they say PUBG is dead. So right now, and it's usually in the top 5 or the top 10 of all games being streamed and watched. So right now on YouTube, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th game being watched. Fortnite is number 1. There's a weird game called Free Fire that I've never heard is number 2. Clash Royale is number 3, which is so weird. And then Dota is number 4, which makes sense. Dota is still a really popular game. And then Battle Royale, PUBG is 5th. So it's not too bad, but Fortnite has 64,000 people watching and PUBG has 7, but I'm sure there's one big streamer who's probably on right now.
Yeah.
And that's Nick A30. I don't know a lot of the famous streamers. He has 30,000 people. And then on Twitch, it's not even in the top 10. PUBG
really?
Right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's not even in the top 30, dude. Isn't that crazy?
It's dead.
I don't know, man. That is weird, though. I mean, this is really dependent on who individually is streaming, you know. And last time Tom got mad because we didn't recognize like the streamer names, because I don't follow like every single streamer out there. But the top Fortnite streamers have 50,000, 20,000 views, and that's really bringing that number up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, who knows? I think that's good for me, maybe, because there's less people, less competition in PUBG. But it's hard to say.
I mean, we are seeing a little bit of a surge on your page, so I think that maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it is. And it's also, I don't want to interrupt you, but it's also because PUBG PS4 coming out, I think, too, which is a good segue into that, unless you want to go into another topic.
No, we can go into PS4.
Yeah, I think it's a good segue because a lot of people have been popping into my stream because they're kind of getting hyped for PS4, PUBG on the PS4, and I've been titling my stream like Countdown to PS4, so a lot of people are coming in asking questions. So shout out to all you guys if you're listening to the podcast. Nice to have you in the stream. And, very exciting that PUBG is coming to PS4 finally, and it's almost here. And I guess within 48 hours, you guys are going to be able to download your game, so make sure if you're playing, you can do that starting I guess tomorrow, right? That's within 48 hours is Wednesday the 5th, because the game comes out on Friday.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar or you're not aware, PUBG posted a bunch of FAQs, frequently asked questions for all the PS4 players, where they went through a bunch of different questions here. What is available to be pre-ordered? If you guys are looking for an opinion, I went over through all this stuff on the stream, so I'm just going to go through it quickly again. I really recommend either getting the $30 base edition or getting the $50 edition. I really don't think it's worth it to get there's a $90 edition, something like that. Don't do that. I don't think it's worth it. You don't want all that in-game currency. But there is going to be a in-game event that costs $10, like a battle pass that's going to be available, and that costs $10. So you're going to probably want to get that anyway. So getting the $50 version or the $60 version has that included. So, and it's got a combo pack. So I think for the most part, most people are going to want that version. So I would recommend that. And it's not bad because the game's only $30 base anyways. So it's really not that bad. And they also confirmed, this is big for everybody, that the snow map is not coming out on December 7th, right?
Yeah, that's confirmed. So I guess PUBG came out and said, here's a list of maps that are going to be coming out on December 7th with PS4, or what PS4 is going to come with, and obviously Vikendi was just not on that list. And I think that's probably a smart move, to be honest, because they haven't even seen how this game really runs on a mass scale on, PlayStation, so it's maybe we should wait. Or maybe there was such backlash possibly from not putting it on, the Xbox thing. Maybe they were like, you know what, let's make sure we just put it all on all platforms at once. I don't, you know what I mean? You never know what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty sure of that. I mean, in the PS4 blog, they said it was launching with 3, but people were just reading into everything and thinking that we were going to get surprised or this and that. And honestly, it makes more sense to me because it's another carrot on a stick out there that after people download it, they'll come back, or maybe more people will buy it when the snow map launches on PS4 and even on Xbox. And something I thought it's cool is that if you guys pre-order it, you get the PS4 exclusive content, which is the Uncharted player model or whatever from the Nathan Drake desert outfit, and then you get the Ellie's backpack pre-order bonus as well, which is from The Last of Us on PS4 if I remember correctly. And then today they announced that if you log into the game on December 7th, they're giving you an exclusive PlayStation parachute, which we have one on Xbox as well. It just says Xbox. And those things are kind of random and pointless, but I think it's a good idea. I mean, I've been seeing ads for PUBG PS4, and I don't think I ever saw that for Xbox. So I think they're really trying to get a successful launch on PS4, and this is really big for PUBG because if they have a bad launch, I think the game is in a little bit of trouble. So I'm really rooting for them, and I hope that all this stuff pays off and that people go out and buy it and play. For sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with all the issues that we suffered, I have to think about the past month or so that really I don't think I've suffered from any major issues with the game besides not being able to ready up in the main menu, but nothing that I was like, oh my God, I haven't gotten kicked from a game or anything like that. You know what I mean? So it's all good news. So I think most of those details have been hammered out. It is annoying when you look through a scope and you're looking at putty buildings, but that is what it is for right now until they could hammer out the details a little bit more. But I think that the game, it is annoying when you're looking through a 4x scope and you're like, I just see potatoes.
Dude, I wish I could insert Box of Ducks and I, someone who's in the stream and Sypher5 and I's friend in real life. We were playing duos and we were on Miramar, which has the most issues with that. Really, you don't get that as much on Erangel and Sanok. We had a 4x scope and we were looking at this town where there's people were running underneath it, and it literally just looked like a disaster, Play-Doh everywhere, completely melted. And that's Xbox One X I have, and I run on an SSD, solid state hard drive, external. So it's I think
they turned down the graphics a lot. I think they toned down a lot, to try to save, which I guess they had to do it, but at the same time, it's just hilarious. It's just hilarious sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it definitely should be something they need to address in the future. They need to make it a little bit better in that regards. But I think PS4 should launch with a minimum amount of issues. I'm sure there will be some sort of issues, but we'll find out, I guess. I'm just hoping that it doesn't have any major problems.
Yeah, same. I can't wait to see what it looks like on PS4. And they also did announce that, I don't think PS4 has 4K capability, or at least PUBG is not going to be 4K on PS4. So that's one slight advantage that Xbox have. I know the majority of players probably don't play on 4K, But at least there's the optionality for that. So definitely still pushing for, if you guys have Xbox, getting it on Xbox or get it on both. I mean, for the price, you could really do it. I was really saying, like, I wish they had some kind of code where once you buy the game, you could get it for like half off or $10 on like every other platform. Because I was annoyed that I paid $30 for it on PC, and if I had PlayStation, I would want it, but I really wouldn't want to spend $30 again. But I guess I would. So maybe they're right by not doing that. They make more money that way, but it's kind of annoying.
I mean, I get that. I mean, I paid also for PC and Xbox, and I mean, it's still cheaper than most games. Like, it's still cheap, $30. Yeah. I mean, if you pay for two copies of it, you're still paying less than you are for the like Blackout or Black Ops game.
The Black Ops, like the limited edition, with all the other stuff.
Well, it's $60 for just a regular edition, so it's still a lot of money. You're paying half for the same kind of content, if that's what you're. I mean, I guess it's more content in Black Ops 4, but at the same time, how much of it are you playing? Like, it's still a time. I would value it as time, not necessarily like content.
Yeah, true. And if you're really into PUBG, then you're gonna even spend more time in that. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that's why I like it. I mean, it's great that it's just $30. I mean, yeah, it would be nice if it was free. I almost wish at this point that PUBG was free. Kind of. I don't know. I hope that they launch it. Like, I know a lot of people would be mad that it went free, but games do decline in price over time.
Yeah.
And I think like over the next, like maybe in the next year, heading into 2020 or something like that, it should just be free. I think that would really help the community. I mean, who knows what we'll be playing and stuff then, but I think that would help boost the community up a little bit, because then a lot more people would log on and get it. But I don't know. It's kind of a topic for like, that's kind of a more like philosophical topic on how much money it should be.
Yeah, I think it's like, what's the longevity of PUBG? Like, how long do you think that will last?
Yeah. I think the issue is more like what model they want to go off of. And I mean, PUBG, like, they're going to have the battle pass soon. And I think we talked about this in one of the other podcasts, that if they continue with that model, then they wouldn't have to spend money on it. But the thing is, once you charge for something, it's hard to take it away because so many other people have already paid for it. So it's kind of like maybe everyone that paid for it gets an event pass for free, or the next 3 event passes for free. That would be really cool. Give all the people who paid for it 3 event passes for free, and then do an event pass every month or every 2 months, like in the future. I don't know. Just throwing like random ideas out there.
Yeah, they could make some sort of thing that's like you're the original, so you get a little bit of help, or some free content or something, just to make you feel like you're a little special,
Yeah, and I've definitely noticed that PUBG like has been kind of like pretty stagnant, and then because they've been having these community events and updates, like it definitely brings people back. But there really hasn't been a big update recently, like in the latter half of like November and in December. So I really think that this snow map is going to be huge, and then the Vikendi pass is going to be great, and then some new weapons and stuff are coming. And then I even heard that there's been a lot of leaks on PC about the snow map and everything, and even with all the new content coming. And I think there's a pretty big leak that what gun is it? It's like it's in a lot of games.
The Scorpion?
Like the Scorpion everybody knows about. There's that gun. Is it like the G36C or something? Is that a gun that's in like a lot of games?
It kind of sounds familiar. Is it an assault rifle?
It's the G36. It's like a small assault rifle. There's a rumor that that's coming into the game. I think this shoots. I'm trying to look at the caliber. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm pretty. They might shoot like 5.56. Yeah, and it's in a lot of guns. It's in like Call of Duty. You've definitely used it before.
It definitely sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does shoot 5.56. So there's like this gun that's rumored to be coming into PUBG, and there's another one that I don't remember off the top of my head that just got like data mined. That they're like, look, it looks like they're putting it in, and people have been doing crazy things with all the data mines. They actually have the image of what the new event pass logo is going to be. So I don't know if you remember, but there was one. The event pass for Sanhok had like, I think it was like it looks like a card or like a ticket. And it had like a palm tree on it and said Sanhok. They have that preview for the new one, which I'm going to Google right now. So sorry if you guys hear me typing. And there was a weird thing on it. There was this text on it that said like Onyx or something, like AUNIX, with like a like poorly drawn smiley face, like on purpose, like someone was like etching it in there. And I don't know like what that means. And I tried Googling it, and other people looked like they were trying to look up what that meant, and I couldn't figure it out. But that's also launching with PS4, but it's not going to be playable until the new winter map is out. So we got a lot of stuff coming. I hope that's not too many like topics. I know we've been going over like a bunch of different PUBG PS4 stuff.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to Google it now too, but it's nothing's coming up really easily.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Reddit. I'll put a link in the podcast on YouTube. I know a lot of people are going to be watching on iTunes maybe now. Oh, and by the way, probably should have, maybe I'll mention this in the intro to it, but we are now on Google Play as well. So we were on iTunes as of the last time we recorded this. So episode 4 is on iTunes, and all the other episodes are on iTunes as well. But episode 4 was the first one that went directly on the iTunes, and now we're on Google Play. So we're on all the 3 major platforms. And somebody actually asked about like Spotify, but I have no idea how to get a podcast on Spotify. I'll just Google it, but I don't know if it's going to cost like money. Yeah, I don't use Spotify. Yeah, I don't use Spotify, so I'm not familiar with it. But somebody asked for it, so I'll obviously do some research, and if it's free or like a small price, then I'll consider doing it and putting it on there. Yeah, I don't know how many people. Most people I've talked to, they don't listen to it on Spotify.
Yeah, I never even really. I don't use Spotify, but I didn't think about the fact that they would have podcasts on there. But I guess it makes sense that they would. Why wouldn't they? It's just music. It's just a different.
Yeah, but it is weird. I don't know. I just think of it as more of a music app. But again, I don't use Spotify, and I mostly just use iTunes, the podcast app for the podcasts that I listen to.
Yeah, kind of funny that like Apple, if you think about podcasts, like that came from Apple.
Yeah. No, I know, and that's great. I mean, they dominate that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't made it like pay some sort of fee to even use podcasts.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, they don't host it still, so they're not like YouTube. Yeah. So you need someone to host your podcast, like we know. But I found it.
So weird.
I found this here. So it says Survivor Pass Vikendi in like teal or like light blue coloring, and then it says Onyx. There's actually a QR code on it. I wonder if you can like scan that. I don't have a QR scanner, and I'm gonna ask that in the comments. Like, did someone QR scan this on Reddit? And again, I'll link this on YouTube so you guys can see it. And the Reddit is a great place for all this information. People find out crazy stuff on here. There's a YouTube channel that has data mined the new snow map, and they recreated it in some kind of program. So they have like a fly through of the new map, which I mentioned in one of my recent videos. So I know a lot of people went and watched that. That was like really big news. Yeah, you can see basically, it's not 100% because they're recreating it, but you can basically see what the new snow map looks like. And this channel did a video like months ago of the recreation of the map, but they just posted one within the last week, and it was much more advanced. Like, they had much more information. They had like really good like representation of all the buildings, and it looks like Erangel but covered with snow and really small like Sanhok. That's kind of like what it looked like.
Isn't it a little bit bigger than Sanhok though?
Yeah, it is. So the first 2 maps, I think they said, are either they're 8x8 or 10x10. I'm pretty sure they're 8x8. And on Erangel, like, Miramar is the biggest map because the land covers the entire map. There's only water on the bottom. Erangel is surrounded by water, but it's mostly land. And then Sanhok is the smallest. It's only 4x4, and then even then, it's an island. And this new map is going to be 6x6, so it's going to be bigger, but it's also an island. Or it's 8x8, but that's the island. No, yeah, it's 6x6 is the size. So the old maps are 8x8. The new one, the Sanhok is 4x4, and Snow is 6x6.
So little bits, it's an in between, pretty much. I wonder how they're going to label that as battle royale or mini royale.
Yeah, I honestly think they're probably. I was just thinking about that today, because I'm making a tips and tricks video for like top 10 tips for beginners on my page. I'm going to try to post it tomorrow on Thursday for all the PS4 players, like going through. And one of the tips, just a little highlight, and I really think if you guys are new to PUBG, you guys should check out this video. One of them is kind of like what maps you should play, because it really makes a huge difference now, because Sanhok is so much different. And I was kind of talking about that, and then I was thinking, I'm like, I wonder where the snow map is going to go. If I had to guess, I would say Mini Royale.
Yeah, so it's more 2-2, but I wish I just gave you straight up map selection. Jesus.
Dude, we're really gonna need map selection, because I'm gonna seriously freak out if I'm kidding. I won't actually be mad, but I'm so used to playing so much Sanhok now that if they take that away, I'm gonna be bummed. Like, if I have to pick between this new map, I'm sure I'll like the new map, but man, I really like the stream is so like I'm so what's the right word? I'm so dependent on Sanhok because it's so much more action packed. I feel like honestly that helps the stream so much more, because like there's a balance between having action and being able to talk to everybody, but on the Erangel maps, dude, like I almost fell asleep today. The first game I played was on Erangel, and I started doing backflips in the motorcycle. Like, I was just so bored. Like,
Yeah.
There's solo at least. There's like nothing going on the map.
Nah, Erangel, the bigger maps solo are terrible.
It's painful.
They're better for squads.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
just because
really
it gives
painful.
you guys a little bit more space between the squads, so you have some time to, kind of loot and get all your life together a little bit. But like, yeah, every time I played solo on Erangel, I'm like, this is because you're just like walking for so long, and then there's just some guy laying on the ground. Like, and you walked like 30 minutes to get to a circle. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then in Sanhok, I mean, it still stinks when that happens, but you don't feel as bad because you're like, oh, I can be back in the final circle in like 15 minutes. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But in Erangel, it's like almost feels like it's like a whole hour sometimes, but it's not. It's more like 40 minutes, or a half hour. But still, it feels like a lot longer. So
yeah, it's definitely long.
Yeah, and as like a little preview, my tip was that you should play the big map, I think, like the first couple games because it's slower and you can learn the controls, and I think that's like how PUBG was intended. But then I think like to get better, you should play Sanhok and like Hot Drop and then go like right to boot camp and learn how to play. But to learn the controls, you should land in the middle of nowhere, like Erangel, drive around. Like you basically have the whole like first 20 minutes to just do whatever you want if you land in the middle of nowhere by yourself, you know? So
yeah,
I feel like that's a good way to learn how to play. But it's subjective, just my personal opinion.
No, I agree 100%. When I first played, the first time I jumped into the map, I was like, where did I don't even know where I landed. And I just like got in a buggy and I just like drove forever. Like I had no idea where I landed. I was like playing with a squad of people. They're like, yeah, you landed nowhere near us. I was like, oh. And I just drove off a cliff like into the water. I was like, okay.
Isn't it so funny? Like when you first start playing a game like PUBG, like everything looks so different. And like I remember landing in towns being like, dude, where am I? And then now like when you land somewhere, like you know like where all the buildings are. Like you start to be one of those people and like you know where everything is. It's funny.
Yeah, I know where like if I'm on a big build, like a 3-story building, I know if I jump out on this side, I'll land on like a shed roof, so I won't take damage.
Wow, yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. I just wish they would give us straight map selection though. That's my only complaint with all the whole
think.
thing.
Let me check.
But we'll see.
I think during the FAQs they said here that map selection. It says map and mode selection. This is an FAQ for PS4. It says that. Well, let me just read the whole thing. So this says, does the PlayStation 4 version have the same content as PC or as Xbox? So this was pretty crazy that they put this in here. So they said that console parity is very important for us. They left out PC, which makes sense. The PC is probably always going to be just a little bit ahead. And they said, however, custom matches and event mode will be releasing for PlayStation 4 at a later date. So they're not going to have event mode, which runs every weekend right now on Xbox, and they're not going to have custom matches. So they must have an issue. They must have had an issue with custom matches because they said this was coming during the launch. So they must have an issue with that. And they also said that map and mode selection will be turned on after they fill up, the servers fill up. So they're not even going to have mode selection. How does that make sense? What is mode selection? Like third person? It probably will be third person only to start. That's probably what
I have no idea.
I bet, yeah, third person is default. So that's probably what they mean by that, is third person, if I had to guess. But either way, it says that map selection will be turned off, but that it will be turned back on. So that might mean that map selection is coming to Xbox as well pretty soon. So that's good. With 4 maps, I feel like they need it at this point.
Yeah, I think they were like, oh, we're worried that Miramar is going to die. Like, come on. You're worried that one of your maps is going to die. I would still play it every now and then.
Me too, for sure. It's still fun. It's frustrating. It's just frustrating when you have to play it a lot. It's still really fun to go and play it.
You're playing it 4 times in a row. It's annoying, yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind. I really don't mind playing it for the most part. It's kind of fun sometimes.
No, if it went 1 for 1, I would be fine, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It goes 4 to 1 to none. Like, there's the one that we played Miramar 5 times in a row. I was just like, come on.
Yeah. What's crazy, did they really say that, or are you just assuming that? Did they say that they're worried about Miramar, or like what?
I thought I read somewhere that they actually said that. They were like, we don't want any of the maps to die. It's like, wink, wink. Obviously, we know it's Miramar. Like, people hate that map.
Yeah, I think they still need to do something. We talked about it a million times, but they need to add something in that map. Like maybe like a
bush or two.
Yeah, like a bush or two. Yeah, like a cactus or something. They need to add like more cactuses or something like.
Yeah,
in there.
I don't know. It makes it hard. It's a different playing game.
Maybe it makes sense. I mean, yeah, they're supposed to be different for a reason. You are in the desert.
Yeah, you just gotta play differently. I get it. It's just annoying. I just don't want to play it 5 times in a row when it's a 40-minute game. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's really my qualm. I don't know, whatever word. Yeah. That's just my problem with it.
Yeah, I think it's coral, but I don't really know. We'll just move on for that. I have a bad vocabulary.
This isn't an English podcast. So
no,
sorry everybody for being terrible.
Your daily vocab podcast.
You were asking the wrong people for that.
100%. So I think that's pretty much it, man, for PS4. I mean, this is all the information. It's pretty interesting what's going on with all this stuff. I kind of like want a PS4 right now, just so I could play. I don't know why, because I just play it on Xbox. But I kind of feel like the hype too. Like it's kind of exciting that it's coming out.
No, it is definitely exciting. I just hope it comes out eventually with cross-platform. And like someone did mention today, like it's probably for the best that they don't, because everyone on PS4 is going to be garbage at it. And I agree. You're going to be garbage at it. Like if I can give any advice to people that are going to be playing PS4 PUBG, don't, if you really want to play it and you want to get good at it, like don't give up after a couple games. Like you're going to be frustrated. You're going to probably cry a little bit. It's going to be hard. You're going to be like, this is a waste of time. But like after a couple, games, you'll feel a little bit better. And then after a couple, weeks of playing, you'll be comfortable. Like, and then after a month or two, you're going to be like, okay, this is like the most addicting game I've ever played.
Yeah. I honestly think you need to give PUBG a legitimate month of playing, maybe even 2, to get better at the game, learn it, and get like the full game. Like this game took me the longest to get used to, and I 100% agree. And if you can play with your friends, stuff like that, it really helps, because starting off solo too can be really difficult as well. Yeah,
I remember you hated PUBG, not hated it, but you were like when I was playing it, and then you started playing, and you were like, this is horrible. You were like saying that, maybe. I don't remember what you're saying.
But I definitely was frustrated. I don't remember what I said. I don't think I said I hated it, but I definitely was pissed off. I would get really mad. Like I think
there was a time that you weren't going to play. I was like, I don't think he's going to keep playing this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there was a couple times, dude, where I turned my Xbox off. Like I was having like I was back in like high school or middle school. I turned my Xbox off like 2 or 3 times in that like when I first started playing in like March, and I think I turned my Xbox off a couple times from March to April. And I'm going to tell you guys why. It's literally because there's no auto aim in this game. And back then, PUBG was really broken on Xbox. So,
super broken.
I mean, there would be times when we would spend a half hour, you would get to the end, and the frame rate would go down to like 5. And you would basically, even to this day, dude, there's some fights, if you hot drop. Today, I was watching it on stream where it's like, the game freezes and you roll your dice on like who's winning. Like you shoot somebody, the game pauses for a second, and then they're dead or you're dead. And that is still kind of frustrating, but that would happen times 100, and I would get so mad. And a lot of it was me being bad too, because there's no auto aim. So you got to get used to that. So you're going to get frustrated. Just remember there's no auto aim. And then after literally a month of playing, you will adjust to the no auto aim, and you'll enjoy the game a lot more. And really, I recommend, I probably should mention this in the video I'm making. I didn't, but you should try to stay away from the 7.62 guns when you start off, the ARs. Those are the hardest to control with recoil. Like the M4
100%.
and the submachine guns are so much easier to use, and it's definitely a little bit easier to hit people from like that mid-range distance compared to like an AK or the barrel rifle.
If you're using a 7.62 gun, just use it as like your house clearing gun, or like close in, like you're running through a field and like you might run up on someone by accident, kind of thing. Like that's what I usually have it. I put it on auto, and it's like if I run into somebody coming around a corner at the same time, like it will put them down, no problem.
Oh yeah, and so much faster than like any
20
gun.
feet away.
Yeah, for sure.
20 feet away more, you're just like shooting, you're shooting all over the place.
Yeah, especially as a beginner. Well, as you get used to it, you can control it more. But starting off, I mean, even today, even nowadays, the AK is like sometimes I control it well, and other times it's like it's shooting all over the place.
We were in a game, and we were in Severny on Erangel, and I was like hiding in a house, and this guy was across the street, and I just started shooting the AKM, and I was like, I don't think a single bullet just hit that guy. I was like, oh, that's embarrassing. But like, it just happens. That gun is just so powerful, and it's just so wild. Like when you're just like when they're moving and you're trying to shoot, and the recoil is just crazy. Yeah, you're just like, shit.
I know. So, and like if there was Call of Duty with auto aim, like you probably would have hit them. But since it's so exact on like PUBG, and sometimes the hit detection can be off, but you end up missing them a lot, and it stinks. Let me
Yeah.
ask you, when you play, and this is maybe helpful for some PS4 players, new players, when you're shooting somebody at like a mid range, or even like, I'm not going to say really close because you probably wouldn't do it, but if you're shooting at somebody that's like, I don't know, like maybe like 25 to 50 meters away from you, in front of you, do you hold left bumper when you shoot an AR or no? Because that makes it more accurate, but I find like I don't do that. I've been trying to do it more, but then I have a harder time aiming because I'm not used to putting my left finger up on the bumper because I don't hold my controller that way.
So wait, but it's different for Type A, Type B controller?
No, I think it's the same because like left bumper should always be for you when you're aiming down sights, the breath button, right? So when you're
focus,
for when you're using a sniper rifle, there's an actual breath when you hold left bumper and you lose your breath. So if you're sniping, you really want to use the left bumper button, which is what like that's probably L1 on PS4, and that's like the old school Call of Duty, like clicking on your thumbstick, you take a breath, and then when you run out of breath, the reticle moves around more. But when you're shooting the AK or any assault rifle, it actually gets a little bit more focused and zoomed in when you hit left bumper button.
If you're aiming down sights.
If you're aiming down sights, yeah. But the thing is that for me, I know a lot of players, when I go to shoot somebody, I'm putting my left pointer finger on the trigger to shoot somebody. So then for when I see somebody, like I try to like rotate my finger up now and put my pointer finger on the left bumper button and then shoot with the R button and then zoom in at like a mid range. But a lot of times I die because of that like extra second it's taking me to flip my pointer finger up. You get what I'm saying or no?
Yeah, no, I mean what you're trying to do is you're aiming down sights and then you're trying to focus.
Yes, exactly. I don't know if you do that in the game.
No, not really.
Yeah, you should try. You should try. It feels weird, but honestly, at that range, because it gives you an extra zoom in when you're using iron sights, the red dot, or even the holographic, you get an extra zoom in with left bumper. I don't know about the holographic. I know with the red dot and the iron sights, you get an extra zoom in. It helps a little bit and it makes it a little bit more steady.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when I do that, if I'm caught by surprise, I just say third person and soft aim.
Do you even at that range? I stopped shooting at that range. I feel like I don't hit people.
No, not always. But I mean, if I have an automatic weapon, I think like if it's an AKM, I'm like I probably have just as good of a chance of hitting them this way than I do aiming down sights.
Yeah, probably with the AKM, you're right. Yeah,
because sometimes I think it's just it depends. Like with the AKM, I think I usually do it. But usually, if I aim down sights, I think if I have the time, like I will do that. I usually focus. But if it's like a last minute thing, like not last minute, but like this is like we're both about to squeeze the trigger at the same time. Usually, I'm just trying to get the shots off.
Yeah, same. That's probably more important. Yeah.
Yeah, like if they're running, and they don't see me, I'm definitely focusing.
Yeah.
But if it's like shoot first, ask questions later, it's definitely I'm just trying to get a bullet out of the gun.
Yeah, I would definitely just try it out in a little bit longer range.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's new, like make sure there's a lot to remember in the game, so don't worry about it. But just know that you can even do that with the ARs, and there's so much stuff. It takes a while to get used to
the leaning and everything.
Yeah, just everything. I mean, there's so much going on, even in a battle royale game. Like if you guys have been playing PUBG on PC or you play Fortnite or other battle royale games, and you might be a little bit ahead of the curve, but there's just a lot of stuff to focus on between like the circle moving and your squad and enemies and the compass. And make sure you guys call out shots on the compass all the time. That's really helpful, and all that stuff.
I don't do that.
No,
that's 100%. I think that's good advice, using that like the focus thing to try it out. I mean, there's a lot of like little mechanics that you're not going to use at first, but you'll get used to as time goes on. And like just like the leaning thing. Now that I play other games, I'm like, oh, I miss leaning.
Dude, I still don't like leaning. I'm not gonna lie.
What?
I just don't like it, dude.
I go back and forth all the time. I'm like, yeah.
I used to do that all the time, but now I'm moving back and forth. So sorry, guys, if the podcast I'm like getting louder and lower. I gotta stop doing that. I was like rocking back and forth in my chair. I never liked leaning, man. I liked it in Rainbow Six, but especially in this game, dude, leaning makes me mad. Especially when I'm trying to shoot somebody from really far away, because of the way that the scopes work. The scopes are really realistic in this game. I'm not putting this in the beginner tips and tricks video, but I made a scope guide for anybody that's also new to the game or doesn't know how the scopes work even to this day. Mm-hmm. And most of them work by, there's lines on the scope. And if someone's 400 meters away, if you take the line and you measure it like where their shoulder is and you shoot, it will hit them in that area. So the scopes have these interesting ways of you can measure people up from a really far distance. And when you're leaning, you like can't use the reticle lines the right way to measure their like shoulder length with the line that's on the reticle. And I don't know, I just feel like it throws off some of the scopes, and like I end up not leaning, and then I always die because I'm not leaning. And so that's why I just, personal preference, I just don't like it, but it makes sense because it's so much more realistic, and it makes it harder to hit people. So people who are really good at leaning and peeking have such a big advantage, and I kind of stink at it. I'm not gonna lie, because I always like to stay vertical and shoot far distances.
Yeah, so, I lean a lot. I think
I still do, especially close range. Like you have to.
Yeah, but you have to when you're behind an object. I just think I lean, like sometimes if I'm just standing, like there's nothing in front of me, I lean because it kind of changes your angle a bit.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Yeah, I've just always been like whatever about it. I don't know. It just happens sometimes. Especially and most of the scopes that have the reticle lines I'm talking about, it's like 3 times and up. You guys will notice there's the little lines on the scope, and you can use those to shoot people from farther distance, which is really helpful. And honestly, after I made that video, man, I've been doing so much better at longer range now. And like because I was just working on the video and testing out different scopes and different guns. It's still hard when people are moving. Still hard to judge the different like bullet velocity. But if someone's still now, like I feel way more confident in my shot, like hitting them from farther away, especially in the head, which is huge.
Yeah, I actually think I got better. I should go into the boot camp, and is it called boot camp? Oh my gosh,
the training mode.
Training mode. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, and do it because I've never done that. I haven't sat down and done training mode.
Have you never gotten into the training mode before? Not
I
even
just
for
feel
fun?
like every time. No, I just don't have time. Every time I get on, people are on, so it's like hard.
Yeah. You can just go in for like 10 minutes and then leave, but it's cool because you can try out like setups you normally wouldn't get that often, or like put on the 8-time scope or the 4-time scope and try to shoot targets from like really far away. And I found it pretty helpful, I'm not gonna lie. And honestly, you know what's pretty helpful really that I don't know if you're doing still, and it took me forever to figure out and I still stink at it, but is that faster parachute drop.
I've been doing it more.
Yeah, I wasn't doing it forever, man. I was being like, there's certain things in video games that I don't like really catch on to, and I thought like it was really lame that people were breaking down like how you parachute faster to the ground. And this also isn't going to be in the tips and tricks video because this isn't like a tip for beginners, I don't think. But I still don't really understand it fully, so you guys could probably watch a different video on it. But you know, everyone does these methods of dropping faster, and I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter if you get down 1 second faster than me. Like, it doesn't matter. But if you hot drop, it makes a huge difference because those people now are getting down so much faster. It's not 1 second. They're getting down like 5 to 10 seconds faster than you sometimes. Maybe 10 seconds is an exaggeration, but it's enough to where they could have a backpack, a gun, and a helmet, and they're already reloaded or loaded, and they're ready to shoot you. And it's like, if you're not doing it and you're hot dropping, you're putting yourself at a severe disadvantage. So
no, yeah, 100%. I do it when it's like directly below me. I try to do it.
Yeah, I'm better at doing. I can do it directly below me pretty well now, but if it's like farther out, I don't really do it as well because there's like this wave mechanic that people do. Basically, the gist of it, if you guys don't know, is like when you shoot directly down when you're dropping in PUBG, you get like a boost and you hit like the maximum velocity, which is 234 kilometers per hour in the air. And then there's a way where if you kind of slow down for a second, then go back down, you get that boost mechanic again, or whatever, that boost transition. And the boost transition's actually faster, makes you go faster over time. So if you can boost 3 or 4 times down, you end up getting down to the ground way faster. And then there's also like, if you do it right at the end, you boost closer to the ground. So it's really big on getting your parachute down, but I don't want to elaborate on it too much because I don't know how to do it that well yet, for the most part.
Me neither. I'm not that good at it. But definitely helpful. So I guess we should move on. I guess our final topic is Battlefield 5.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get into what we're going to talk about, have you been playing Battlefield 5? I know Day has it. I thought about getting it. It was on sale for $30 at Target, and I skipped it. It was not available online anymore, but I probably could have went to a store and bought it. But I'm just holding off for right now. I'm really busy with other games, so I wanted to hear if you've been playing it or not.
Not recently. I didn't play it really much this week. It's just been a busy week for me, but also like I haven't seen as many people playing it. I would like to play it some more. It's just like I don't think I've had a lot of time this week when it comes down to, and I just haven't seen that many people playing it. But also, I just don't. It's not as much alluring to me during the week to play. I'm like, oh, I could play this or I could play PUBG, and it's just like, man, I play PUBG.
Yeah.
And I think like, unfortunately, like that's just how a lot of people probably feel. I've noticed a lot of people playing it that I haven't seen online in a while. So like, you know, we have a friend named Rob and he's been playing it. So I texted him. So I was like, you know, let me know when you're playing it, because I'll play with you. And he was on the other night and I was just like, I just don't really feel like playing it right now. But I definitely want to play it more. I just haven't tried like any of the campaign, and I'm sure the campaigns are great. But I think like maybe this week I'll try to get on it a little bit more. Now that my week is starting to break up, like next week I should have a lot more time too, so I'll probably play it a little bit more.
Yeah, I gotcha. I just wanted to see if you had played it or anything like changed. I know there's a lot of stuff, and sometimes when you get on, you just play PUBG. I just wanted to see.
Yeah, and I know that tomorrow, you know, actually it was supposed to be out sooner, but their Overture, the update was supposed to be out too. I guess it was supposed to be today.
Today's November 4th December 4th as we record this podcast. So yeah, it was scheduled for today.
And they had to postpone it until tomorrow because of some issue that they were having. You know, and they didn't want to, you know, break the game even more. Go figure. So like they waited, and it only took them a day. They said 2 days, and it only took them a day, which is good news. But also, you know, it's also like, come on, guys, like this is a little bit bad. Like they already had a huge delay from when it was supposed to come out. It came out later than they originally had planned. And
again, it's not a big deal because it's 1 day, but because they've had so many delays, it seems kind of like unprofessional. You know what I mean? So,
it just seems like it's a little bit of a mess and everything. So I just don't know, you know, how reliable they are with all this stuff at this point. And I mean, all the content's free for it, which is great. So, I mean, they're always going to have people playing, but I think that, you know, the people that want the game to succeed it's like us in PUBG. Like, people want it to succeed. They want it to do well, but they're just like seeing some like small issues here and there. And then you get this like update that's being pushed back a day or two. And you're just like, oh man, like this should be something simple, you know, and it's just not. It's just not as simple.
Yeah, that's crazy. And honestly, dude, I stopped following like all the news for Battlefield 5 because I wasn't getting it off the bat. Yeah. And I don't know, man. I feel like I kind of feel bad for them, but I mean, EA has done a lot of like crappy stuff, but I feel bad for all the people that worked on the game, not like the company, but I feel bad for all the developers because that just got like, it got crapped on. And I don't know, man, I see almost like 45 of my friends are online. I have a lot more friends now because of people adding me from the stream and stuff, but yeah, like, so I have a lot of people online right now and I don't see one person playing Battlefield. I mean, most people are on Call of Duty, PUBG, or Red Dead, and those three games seem to be like the biggest games I've seen like this fall being played on the Xbox One. So that kind of stinks. I feel bad. I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, maybe their Battle Royale will be really good, but I don't know. It would be kind of a cool take because it would be like World War II, which is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be like the first World War II. Well, I'm sure there's probably some obscure World War II, but it'd be like the first big name World War II thing that I've heard of. Yeah.
It might be fun if we play it, you know?
Yeah. It could definitely be pretty interesting. I'd like to see. I mean, I think there's word on that coming in 2019, right? Not even this year. So
I'm really just wondering, like, if they'll deliver it. You know what I mean? It's just EA is just like a very, you know, hit or miss with that stuff. Like, updates delayed. There's been promises of some things that just never came out. You know, so we'll see what happens, I guess. And when that happens, I guess like the funny thing is like I was reading some stuff and, you know, when Battlefield 5 had their release party, they did like this weird thing where they picked out like, you know, trollish tweets about like, you know, adding feminism to the game.
Yeah, and for everybody that's not aware, like they got a lot of backlash because they had like the female character in the game, and there's a lot of stuff going on with Battlefield 5. So sorry, keep going.
Yeah, it's like a silly thing. Like it's just so dumb. People really care about this stuff, you know, that they like. I mean, I tweet at Brendan Green all the time, but like this kind of thing, it's just like, dude, like this is just the way the world is at this point, I guess. And they're tweeting it, but what's really dumb is that like Battlefield or EA took the tweets, put them on a giant screen at their release party, and then they put a hashtag over it, everyone's Battlefield, that's nice, but it's like, as a developer, you worked on that game. It's like you're at the release party of a game that was delayed months that you probably slaved over, and then you're just seeing, like, reading mean tweets about the game you just made. You're just like, oh, dude, like, just let me live. You know, like, like they already had like so much backlash about taking longer. You know what I mean? It was just probably like such a weird thing to do, I feel like, but funny nonetheless.
Yeah, funny, but yeah, it is super weird.
Yeah, if I was the guy that worked on that game, I'd be like, dude, I'm looking for a new job on Monday.
Yeah, honestly, dude, because the game, like you said, you told me it looked great. I've seen footage; it looks good. I'm sure it plays pretty well at some points, but it's just, I don't know.
Weak attempt at being PC kind of thing. It's just weird.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like it was really bad timing that whatchamacallit, they did World War I. Battlefield 1, which everyone was so stoked about, like, because it was nice to go back, which it really was. It felt great. And Battlefield World War 1 is kind of left out, even though a lot of the gameplay was more like World War 2, because let's be honest, like, if it was World War 1, we wouldn't have had as many, like, automatic weapons and all that stuff. But anyways, Battlefield 1 was a lot of fun. It was really great. And then Call of Duty did World War 2, so it felt like we had the whole like we felt like we had the whole genre right there. And then then you kind of realized that, like, oh, Battlefield 1 probably planned to do World War 2 next. Like, it kind of screwed them too, because, like, I already did that. You know what I mean? I just played World War 2. So, like, I don't know.
I already got the story. I got it. It's good.
So I feel like that was just bad timing. And then with the heavy hitters this year and, like, Red Dead Redemption, like, god dang, like, so many people are playing those games and buying that. And And to add on to that, I mean, I haven't been following this as much because I haven't been playing a lot of Red Dead. I haven't even gone online yet, but the online beta went up. And to my knowledge, I don't think there's, like, the Battle Royale in that as of right now. It's just, like, the online multiplayer version of the game. And there was a lot of controversy with, like, the online economy. I don't know why it became such a big deal, but I saw it, like, all over the place that people were, like, freaking out about how expensive all the items were in the game, like how long it would take you to get them with in-game progress, and then how expensive they were, I guess. And I guess they said they're going to be changing it now, but it's created, like, such a big thing. I can't, microtransaction, all this stuff, like, to me, if it's cosmetics, like, I don't think it is what it is. I mean, PUBG is expensive. Like, just don't buy it then. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. It's always going to be even if they made it super cheap, you'd be like, oh, they made it too cheap so everyone can get it too easily, you know.
Yeah, I think someone actually said that, like, in the comments.
Yeah,
but I mean, it says
100%.
I guess they're saying a jacket is $30. Is that they're saying a jacket shouldn't be $30 and $18.99? I don't know if that's. I don't think that's actual $30 US. I think that's probably, like, in game, the currency online, and that it takes a really long time to get to $30. I don't really know, but yeah. Anyways, it was a big thing.
Currency conversions to 1889.
I mean, hey, Jesus. I definitely complained when PUBG, like, I think the PUBG outfits are too expensive.
Well, the $25. That's
but, like, you know, honestly, a lot of these microtransactions are too expensive. I was even playing. Sometimes I still play HQ Trivia, like, once in a blue moon. Do you remember that game? Did you ever play it?
No, I just remember everyone stopping playing PUBG to play that stupid thing.
Yeah, HQ Trivia is an online, like, app on your phone. I mean, it's pretty much, like, dead now. I mean, they try to revive it by doing stuff, but it was really hype. It was like a huge thing across the country. I feel like across the world, really, when it came out, because it was, like, new and exciting. Where you play it online,
like $10.
Yeah, you play an online trivia game on your phone. You answer 12 or 15 questions, and then you win a prize if you make it all the way to the end. Which Grace won one time. My girlfriend, I never won. But anyways, they had a thing when I played the other day, where it was like, if you want, you could get free lives all the time by, like, doing weird stuff or inviting somebody else. And they're like, oh, if you want a free life, it's $2.99, I think, for one life, or $3.99 for one life, and $9.99 for 3 lives. I'm like, dude, who is gonna pay $9.99 for 3 lives when most people who win, you win, like, $5? Like, who honestly would do that? I'm like,
some idiot.
Make it like $1 for one life, or $2 for one life, and $5 for 3 lives, or even less. I don't know. Like, I just don't get why. It's kind of like that. Like, I'm sure they run studies or something on this, but, like, I can't believe it, man. I think a lot of these things would make so much more money if they just made the prices cheaper. Even with PUBG, man, you would be seeing so much more people running around with a clown outfit if it was $10, as opposed to now where I never see somebody wearing the clown outfit. It's $20. Why would you buy it? You know?
No.
I only bought it for the stream, really, because, you know, people come in the stream and they love it. They always talk about it. People are like, oh, wow, you have the clown outfit. It's just like a fun thing to have. But I've rarely run into people, and I play every day now streaming. I saw one person today wearing a clown outfit, and I've never noticed it before.
I haven't seen anyone wearing the Harley Quinn or the Joker outfits at all.
I've seen a couple people wearing Harley Quinn, but that's about
a
it.
Couple.
But that's
a couple,
it.
though.
Rarely
I haven't seen it really.
I don't think I've seen a full Joker. Some people bought his hair, but I haven't seen a full Joker, like, all the way.
Yeah, which is just, it was way too expensive in reality. I just don't think they kind of went about that the right way for sure.
Yeah.
But back to real quick with Red Dead.
Yeah, sure.
You know, before we're kind of like running out here. I was watching a lot of videos of like people playing together, and it's just like the calamity of like these guys playing together, and they're obviously like probably are closer to our age, like they're late 20s, and they're like playing and they're like talking like with the like southern accent and like the hardcore western accent. They're like they're hog tying people. They're just so funny. It's like, oh man, like that's probably the best part about it. Like those videos were hilarious.
Yeah, there's a lot of great videos online. You're so true. Yeah, it's such a great game for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just talking like, oh, yeah, we're going to get you. It's just so funny. It's like, this is what you get for messing with the Bow Boys. It's just like all their friends just like they're shooting people.
Were they playing Red Dead Online, I guess?
Yeah, they were playing Red Dead Online. It was like they're hog tying a guy, and they like, just all this funny shit was happening.
Wow. I wonder how that works. Cool. Yeah, I'd like to see how that works out.
I think it's just like kind of like GTA.
But can you just kill somebody like out of nowhere?
Yeah, I think it's kind of just like GTA.
I don't remember, though, because I played that so long ago, GTA Online. I don't even remember how it works.
Yeah, you should be able to just chase people around in the free world.
But didn't something happen, like if you shot them, like you would get wanted or something? I don't remember. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Interesting.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. It's still going to be, just like GTA, it's probably going to be a long time till it like gets really elaborate, because that's what happened with GTA. It was so slow. I remember that was years ago. Then it really blew up, but I was already on to another game at that point, so... We're back to Call of Duty, probably.
Yeah, I can't stay on those games that long.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, man. Well, I guess that's pretty good. I want to just promote or mention one funny thing. I don't know if you saw it. Probably not, because like you said, you've been pretty busy lately, and I just posted it today. But I posted the clip from when you and I, Sypher5 and me, we were playing with Day and one other person. I think it was our friend, Mr. Wiggles. And
it was Wendell.
Wendell, and we went down the side of Miramar in the Hot Rod, which is called the Marauder. It's the convertible in Miramar. It's like the fastest vehicle in the game. Definitely not made for like rock climbing, but I went down the mountain in the vehicle and we made it all the way down. It was a really funny clip, and even Day at the end was like, dude, you got to record this and stuff. It was so funny. So I posted It's only like a minute and a half, so if you guys haven't seen it yet, check out YouTube. It was just a really hilarious clip. And normally I don't post like small clips like that to YouTube, but it was a little bit too long for Instagram. And I got a lot of other funny clips coming to Instagram soon, so like the stream and stuff like that. If you guys haven't followed me yet, I'll post all the social media down below, but you can follow me on Twitter at BLiTz5, pretty much everywhere at BLiTZ5. The Instagram is BLiTZ5 and Friends. Twitch.tv is BLiTZ5 and Friends. You can find Andrew on Twitter at Sypher5AD, I think, right? Is that your new username?
Yeah, I mean, it's been that. I guess I'm just starting to use it a little bit more.
Okay, I thought it was something else, but I don't.
So no, it's Sypher5AD.
Okay, so I'll plug his thing as well, and you know where to find us. I think we've been running a pretty good schedule on the podcast. We've been recording it every Tuesday night, and then posting it on a Wednesday. So for the most part, I'm just going to keep that tradition going, and this will be available on. Well, if you're already at the end of this, then you already know, but it's available on iTunes and on Google Play and on YouTube. But for there might be some new people here who made it to the end. And if you made it to the end, congrats and thanks for, this is Andrew's line, but thank you for making it into the final circle with us. You survived the final circle. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah, you said it great.
No, but usually you add a little bit more flair to it. Yeah. But I think that's it, right, man? Anything else to end on?
No. That's it. Thanks for joining us, guys.
All right, and for everybody on PS4, this will be the last podcast before PS4 launches. So we'll be talking about that next week. So good luck, everybody. Definitely can't wait to see what those games look like. I'm going to hop in some streams on Friday and see what it looks like. And then we'll see what the next community event is for Xbox. And then the snow map coming hopefully in December. So I think that's it. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday, all right?
Yep. Have a good one.
All right, later, guys.